Hello. Good morning, good day, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time zone the world you are. It's your Blue Archive Gacha where beginner artist self-proclaimed and your boy Tosan you. Welcome to the stream. For today I will be doing art stream and with that drawing VTuber fan art. And today on the start I will be drawing Kazama Iroha, the bodyguard, the samurai of the secret organization holoX. So the latest like holo JP, if you like discount EN ID and device, hololive device, you know. They are like out there for a while, yes, and we had like a lot of changes, but still part of holoX. And I noticed I haven't drawn fan art of her, so she was like next on the line. If you're not familiar with this program here, I do like every week at least one art stream, and I'm currently on the kind of task to draw every single holo mem. So it's like holo stars on hololive here, and you have like on the left some samples if you're not really sure what to expect like art wise. Like if you look at me alone, it's like also like kind of enough, I would say. There's sometimes like exceptions, but when I have like time and I have like interest, but for now it's like for me the lack of time where like not really go all out, but just keep it like simple, you know. And yeah, it can like take about 2 hours or like 1 hour if I'm like really fast, but like fast is like not always the case, so on average it's like about 2 hours, like, and I will be yapping this time, so if you go into my streams, expect that, you know. And also not many hololive VTubers to draw, maybe Ira was like the only one left, and holo stars also like not that many. Maybe I can do it like within a month, you know. Let's see, like to complete my mission, my task, and then yeah, I'm gonna like see about what I can do afterwards. Probably I can like do draw freely if I like borrow from any franchise, you know, but gonna like see how it'll go. So I usually when I do my morning streams around 8 AM, it's like always like, oh, I just woke up, you know, regarding that. But this time I woke like a little bit up earlier, since there are like some things I do wanna do before I go to work. Like I have like about 6 hours of like free time or so, and then another hour is like spent to like, okay, make food, make yourself some yummy food. Also like playing with the cat, so paying that cat attention, and then yeah, it's like I won't have like that much time left, so I really have like to plan like my day a little bit more. And with that, there's like less room to like really consume, more or less. So in a sense, like, yeah, I wanna play games, I wanna watch like some funny videos, you know. It's like there's like not much I can do. Like if I eat, like, then I can like afford to like turn on a video or so, or like maybe an anime if it's like a bigger meal. But it goes like a little bit slowly regarding consumption of like stuff, like watching something, even playing games. Like at most I can like do dailies in in Blue Archive, but other than that, not much like left. And man, I would like to do more, but such is like life and like the dilemma. Like if you want to use the time to also make something cool rather than like you know, just like, I mean, enjoying the gift of life on like, in the sense of like, yeah, I'm born a world where like anime is made, games, funny videos, you know, just let loose, you know, don't do anything, have things done for you, which is like kind of the thing, you know, pay the money when they do things. But the things like money is like not unlimited, not everyone has unlimited resources regarding that, so it's like always like about that. But YouTube for the most part is free, you know, so you have like at least like something to watch. But and like but regarding like, okay, pay money, they do things for you, YouTube, I mean, like nowadays that's like really this breed is like really rare, you know, which is like just acting according like comment section or like chat and then be like, okay, I'm gonna change it up. And that's not really much the case anymore. People actually, you know, want like equal exchange, like if this comes like to that, you know, like give and take in a sense, right? Okay, if you give me that, I could do that, you know? It's like that, so like with money, for example. But sometimes people are not really for money. Sometimes it's just like, buy me a hot pot or a pizza or whatever, you know? And then we're good. But even that is like payment, you know? Oh, by the way, bring me the XXL deluxe pizza, then it's like maybe 20 bucks or so, you know? Rather than like 5 or 10 bucks. But yeah, you get what I mean. So I think like gonna draw half body. I want to end it quickly since there are like other things I want to attend to. I would love to like complete it within an hour, but gonna like see, because art is like unpredictable a little bit, I must like say. I never like really know like how long it truly takes. And Iroha is cute. I pretty love the design that Umibozo sensei like did with her. She looks pretty say so, even though the person behind is like not necessarily like, yeah, not all that, but hey, thank you, you know. And but yeah, she cute, you know. Still goes out. I do like holoX. It's like the one gen where I'm like, oh yeah, you know, where my third leg awakens. And maybe like one of the reasons why like, nah, maybe not one of the reasons, you know, to be a fan, really. Because their performances is like also like on a good side and like entertainment wise. But for me it's like, you know, I think like entertainment wise, this is like where they shine. But sometimes I do surprise when they like bring out like the new songs or like performances with that, like dancing, you know, and it then goes wild, you know. It actually like is a pop, which has always been, but but it's always like nice, yeah, you know, you watch someone be like, have like an image in mind, and then boom, they shatter expectations, you know, go further and beyond, and then yeah. It's like kind of interesting, you know, especially like when artists like you know, look at them, because when we draw them, it's like with an image on our mind, you know, and when we draw according to that one. But sometimes, you know, the persona does like break that, they themselves like go beyond that, or like, you know, go even like, you know, drift away from that, actually take like another route, and it's like even better than before, you know. Sometimes there's like not better than before, you know. Sometimes things cannot be upgraded, like our voice, you know. Like if you like a certain kind of voice and it's like exactly the perfect way, then there's like not much on upgrading, you know. The only thing you can like maybe upgrade is like hearing some kind of tones you've never heard before, like when they start like screaming, or when they get like startled. Sneezing, somewhat of a rare case, you know, like hearing those sort of things, like from a favorite voice. But if it's like things like eyes, you know, okay, wear like some glasses, you know, then the eyewear's like making the eyes like bigger, then sometimes then you can see it better. Like in animes, like make it bigger, right? But they can like work like a lens, and then you see like clearer, maybe, more or less, you know. And some characters with glasses, they look like actually better, you know. Glasses are versatile. You can use it to make characters look smarter, you can make them cuter, you know. And hey, why don't we give every girl like glasses, you know, something like that. Like the copy pasta from Fubuki. I wonder if I just make it like do not draw the fingers. If I just do it like that. Yeah, I mean this works too. I want to be fast. In the sketch I kind of like included the fingers, but But yeah, it can be interesting too when artists come like out with a fan fiction. Like not in written form, but you know, like fan work. Like with their comic strips or so. That they have like a headcanon and then draw like based on that. Like the kind of fan work, you know, for example in Whole Life, you know, Bad End, Whole Myth Bad End. Like from Mazu Sensei. This was like really cool. And this was like kind of a fan project, you know. It's like, oh, I thought this would be cool. And got like enough attention that would like, you know, that the Holo Myth actually would talk about it. Mazumaru got like, also after this was like over, being like recruited by like Idol Ian, and they were like still a company when this was active, you know, to draw and like make a trailer for a promotional video. And like Kiara also like hired Mazumaru to like make a PV or like MV, like something like that, like animated, you know. So this was like also like a cool thing. And come to my lab. That's in English even. Be careful. The cat was like meowing, like kind of asking, hey, can I go to your lab? And then be like, yeah, why not, sure. Like when I draw, she likes to like go to my lab since I'm not moving much, and maybe like the scratching of like the tablet, of the pen on the tablet is like calming. Not sure, but it's like something of a regularity there. I'm kind of showing I'm not dead, you know, I'm like actually doing something. She ate like a good meal. Kind of like, I don't know how you call it like in English, but he like does those mouth movements, does like some sounds with that. Sometimes she would like lick her paws and then, you know, cleans like around the area of her mouth with that. It's kind of interesting to like watch another individual do something, you know. Usually it's like always me alone. I kind of distance myself, you know. Kind of like a solo player, you know. No, I'm playing solo. I'm not playing a team. I can't do it on my own, you know. Which can be like kind of cool to like show that off, but usually in a team, you know, if actually a team that like works, you know, not like group work, school projects, right? You know, one guy does everything, the others do not do anything. Am I right? And to be honest, for the most part, I had to carry school projects like back in the days. So yeah, kind of like can tell, yeah, that's like why I learned to like do things on my own, you know, to stop relying on everyone else. But when I was like the guy to solo like my projects or like group projects, you know, school projects, was there ever a group afterwards where we like, hey, let's split the work evenly, you know, I do this, you do this? Actually, I don't think so. Like during my younger years when I was like not really competent, efficient, then it was kind of like that we like split work. And I kind of like referred, hey, I don't want to do any, you know, but actually I have to do something. The things like when I, for example, like do a project, you know, and there's like something visually included, like what do you call that? It's not a poster, you know, but you get what I mean, right? That you like put on there like the keywords, something like a mind map or so, but like keywords and like some visuals there to like enhance on like, okay, this is what I'm talking about, this is like the kind of topic, you know, and to give a on one glance like kind of like overview, okay, understand what we're talking about, you know, but when if they decide to look closer and like read the details, then yeah, it's like if something like visual is included, I have like a good vision in mind on like how the end product like should be, like, you know, like the sense. And if I had like the vision, I usually don't want other people to like taint the vision and be like, hey, I'm gonna do the work, you gonna stand up and like read that text, you know, I prepared for you. And then yeah, just like me, at the end of the day, like I do the work and then I sit back and then like look at them do the thing in front of the class or so, you know, and see like the fruit of my labors, more or less in this kind of context. Actually, I need to like look at some other reference from like Iroha from Umibozu Sensei. Kazama, like because of from this angle, I do not have like a reference. Umibozu. Warte. I found it. Okay, I like trying to like do it quickly, so I will try on that. She has like some leaves there. She has like a pokope, something like a tanuki also. I wonder if like some people like try to do like capybara VTuber also, you know, like for some reason like capybara blew like off, you know. I knew like back in the days capybara would be like shown like some shonen manga like World Trigger. But it would be like at a later time where people like would see and understand the charm of like capybara. Because they're like social animals, you know. They also don't like some introverts like, you know, too much traffic, too much like things going on, you know, and then be like, "You're just like me, for real," and when they're like just chill, you know, and yeah, it's something like that. It's chill. They don't want to like to do much work and or like too much action, and they have like those kind of peaceful kind of expression like on them, you know, which looks like it's like kind of calming, like you know, to be like around with such an individual, you know, I suppose. I have to up the volume here. Maybe. No, maybe not. On this side I can go shorter. Mibozu sounds kinda cool, right? And that's the name of her artist. Mibozu gozaru. Actually, her artist, like, you know, her mama, you would like say, draws actually like a lot of like art of like her, especially like when there's comic cat also, you would like see that they would like actually make some art books and like acrylic stands here and there, like maybe like some light tapestries with like really cute artwork of like her. Sometimes like her in a pajama, her as an idol outfit, you know, like art books, okay, school uniform, like casual, you know, not necessarily like the samurai get up, but like in like something alternative. And you know, looking like at a cute character like Iroha, you know, oh, what if she was my classmate, you know, or what if you know, we live together when we can see in a pajama, you know, something like that. And it kind of like gets like blood sugar like rising, like, oh man, it's so kawaii, it's so sugar, you know, please more. And then yeah, like some artists like really understand like that and produce more. Gonna be like those people, you know, the shady dealers be like, I got here like this good stuff here, you know, the idol girl in pajama outfits, the idol girl in casual outfit, as if you imagine that you would be like the person next to her. All I need is like those 500 yen of yours, and when the deal is like done, you know. Oh, by the way, if you want to like preserve that moment forever, here's an acrylic stand. Only 1,000 yen. Go grab it now, before it's gone forever. Sometimes it feels like in my eyes like that because those are not really like official goods, you know, official merch, you know. Then you have to like get it like from the offer, from the artists themselves, you know. And yeah, not many like offer like shipping, you know. Then it's like all the more like on the east side. And then yeah, because artists are like individuals, you know, they're not a company or something like that, or like experience like in the big sphere of like, you know, marketing. And then yeah, like the really big artists like Umebuzo, you know, Ui Sensei and what else, they can do that, you know. But for smaller ones, you see like, man, the art is cracked, and then yeah, it's like not much you can do. Maybe like buy digitally, you know, like doujinshi for example, or like but yeah, then but if it's like actually like some kind of goods, you know, there are also things like mouse pads, you know, then yeah. But if you think like about merch, you know, in terms of like VTubers, would be like actually like some kind of merch that you personally like? For me, it's like always like, yeah, body pillow cover, you know, but like things like a mug, can badge, you know, acrylic stands, they're not really that interesting for me, I must like say. If it's a figurine, then maybe, you know, we can argue, but that's like not always the case, you know. Sometimes there's like this, oh, the full set, and then I include an autograph card, like some voice there as well. Please buy, and then I don't know, you know, because they're like some things I do not be interested in. Like one kind of buy I didn't really mind was like one of Ina's like merch sets where it's like for laundry, you know, like they're like things you can use for laundry. And maybe like the Kuso Dekai Takodachi pillow, you know. Not that I have bought it before, but I would like to. But the only thing you can like go get those old products is like going to Japanese websites or like something of a flea market, you know, like digital one, and like look if someone is like willing to like sell that. And I saw like some kind of offers, but I have to like kind of compare the price of like, hey, this is the price from back then, and now this is like the price when they like sell at a flea market, you know. Then it's kind of like, yeah, sometimes like a little bit cheaper because, you know, it's already used and so, but sometimes you can afford to like go more expensive because, hey, that's a limited item, it will probably never rerun again, you know, or it might never rerun again. Grab it now under this price or never, or before someone else gets it, you know. Then yeah, it's like sometimes 1,000 yen more, maybe 2,000 yen more. Some people afford like to add like a 5,000 yen extra, like 50 bucks or like 37, you know. And then it's kind of like, and then you have to pay shipping, like some customs, and then, no, I don't wanna, you know. Then yeah, it's like that. But if I get like to Japan, like buy like those really big things, I need to like think about compression bags, like if I can get some, and then make like transportation of like things a lot easier, you know. Like even dakimakura, like those long pillows, they're like compression bags for that, like specialized for them to like make them smaller rather than like gigantic, like that you don't like carry around a 160 centimeter on 50 centimeter like pillow, but instead like make it like small enough, like head size or so, you know. And then transportation is easier. But yeah, let me see. I'm gonna try the other hand, and she's like wearing clothes. On both hands, yeah, on both hands. then I have to do it like this. That one half is like black, the other half is like yeah, something like that. And I would like to like this, that it's like pointing. Probably doesn't make much sense, but I mean, it's chibi. It should not make any. I mean, the more it doesn't make sense, the better, I would like say. Well, in some sense, some kind of like it does need to make sense somewhere, like on like what do I want to express, you know? Like, is there a reason? For me it's just like, I wanna draw Ira in like cute and dorky kind of way. Maybe the dog is like not really like there because because it's like kind of my image on like her, you know, like kawaii, but maybe I can like make a little bit of this dog side like show up. I don't know. Like, gonna look at the end product at the end of the day, because like adding color can also like change like some impressions. Not that I'm really good at coloring. It's like pretty standard. Sometimes I can go all out with like some stuff and like apply lighting, but it can only do so much, you know. Like, I'm not that much of a pro. I'm not really a pro at all. プロじゃねえよ。私。私プロじゃねえよ。The long sleeves. I like the wide sleeves. Yeah, it's not long sleeves. Let's say it's like wide sleeves. Back in the days, when I was like practicing art, I liked to draw like kimono-ish kind of stuff. The long sleeves. Even though I didn't really understood the physics, and I still don't really get it, you know. But not that I really solid in the need to like learn that, I must like say. But if I'm like really interested, you know, I would like buy myself like a Haori, Hakama, or something like with those white sleeves in Japan, and then like, you know, have like a reference myself. And if I get another person like at some point, you know, it can be like, hey, wear that, and then turn around, do this and that, and then I do take photos like, you know, like photo shoots, you know, and then yeah, have my references like that. Of course, there's something like an art class as well, right? Where it's like, where you have like multiple artists, you know, you can like reach out to a teacher and whatnot, and some of them, they would like do those kind of things where they model, and yeah, and then you have like basically like some references of in this kind of way. Like sometimes it would be like, okay, one is like modeling and the other like are like drawing from their perspective, you know. Like it would be like sitting a circle in the center, like one does like modeling and they stand like about 5 minutes or 10 minutes or so, and the others have like time until that to like capture the energy of the pose and like maybe do complete like a whole drawing, you know. They do like those kind of exercises, you know, to not get rusty. I don't really do those kind of exercises, as I say. I should actually like make them more, do them more, but yeah. Also, I can't stay still forever, so sometimes I'm gonna move and then cat be like, meow, you know. I just chilled, why did you move? You know, I don't know, like how I should like, where should I put my finger on like how to interpret the meows. I'm not like a whisperer yet to like understand like what they say. I'm slowly learning, but still like, I don't know. What are you saying, girl? Can you speak my language? Of course not. I heard like things about talking baby language, you know. Make like your voice, oop, 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 ah, pa, 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 you know, and in a sense like that you treat them like babies, you know. Oh, who's a good boy? You're a good boy, or something like that, you know. Kinda Iroha, actually. There's like something cute about her, but also now that I'm actually drawing her for the first time and like looking some details of like her character design, there's actually potential, holy crap. Now that I think about it, some people actually cooked with that, that concept. I'm not gonna clarify like what I mean. But let's say I'm that dude. I'm a dude, you know? And sometimes boy thinks like boy thinks. But overall, I do have like, I don't know, I do try to like not go all out there yet, unless I think like, oh, it's a good time now. So I'm not really sure about those sleeves, you know, but whatever. It's unavoidable. I have to draw long sleeves. Here. That one. Kyatto. Then here too. It's just a normal shirt, no issues. Actually, I could have drawn her like that way, but there's something that goes hard. Maybe not hard, but actually there's like something that I really like about her those outfits. There's Like the one where she looks like a samurai. Ninja じゃない、侍です。スーラーじゃない、カツラだ。スーラーじゃない、カツラだ。カツラじゃない、スーラーだ。Yeah, I think there was like something about Gintama reference when she did her debut, you know? Where it's like kind of a press conference and then a lot of like flashing lights from like the photo cameras, and then she would like slowly appear and be like, "Go in, you know, and yeah. Maybe it's not really a Gintama reference, but this kind of reference was like done in Gintama, you know, like regarding some kind of minister or so, or like someone of a political party, and then he did a big oopsie, and then had like to do this kind of publicity act there. And this moment got like memed on by the Japanese citizens. It would like enter the books of like memes, I suppose. Okay, but I'm not sure. Yeah, it's like not how you draw that thing. Maybe I'm gonna cheat and like just cut off that stuff that I do not have to draw it. You know, like around here. Just cut it off, like the difficult and annoying parts. And then yeah. Like there's some ways where you can elegantly like avoid like drawing things. The way to not draw hands but still have to draw hands, you know? Like draw it in a way where it's like least amount of effort, but it's also like not where it like stands out too much that you actually like slacked off, you know, in a sense. There are like some techniques to like avoid like some troublesome like things. Especially like backgrounds, you know, like backgrounds can be like hard, especially if you do not have assistance. Because those are time consuming. You rather like want to draw like the waifus or like the hot guys, you know, and then yeah. But sometimes what I kind of like observe, you know, regarding like ugly characters, they are not really attractive, but some artists have like fun drawing them. Because it's like not like with the big eyes that can like do the dog begging thingy, like cat begging, but it has like something so, I don't know, its own like draw to it that draws you in. Something like that, a little bit of a pull. You know, like Prison School, the dude characters? Like besides like Kyoshi, like the main character, the other characters, you know, they look like really interesting to draw. Like one big guy with a small face, the other guy like looking like a nerd, you know. Other guy has like a hoodie and then you can't see his face really. But I imagine they're fun to draw. Even if they're not immediately like attractive in a sense, you know. Don't give off like main character vibes. It's really like fun to draw them, I suppose. Like not everyone wants to draw like beauty, something of a hottie, you know. Sometimes they do like want to like experiment and draw like someone who's like not like, you know, the magnum opus. Actually like, you know, but do not like really take like those relatable inclusion characters and make the main characters also. At least make like in a way where it complements them, you know, like things like Dustborn, you know. This like really flopped. Because they did like, they put too much emphasis on the virtue signaling rather than like making like a good game, compelling story, good written characters. It's kind of like, you know, in a sense. Concord is like something like that too of the character design, and I guess like the gameplay also didn't feel like that good. Not that I can like say anything because I haven't played it, and I think like it's good that I didn't play it. It's just like, no, I see like the reviews and be like, okay, trust me bro, you know, then okay, no. I'm not really an FPS gamer, so I can't like really say too much on that. But I did play FPSs before, but it's like always like tag team with a friend, like we do something on the story mode, you know, then we're gonna cooperate together, and then yeah. It's not really like high level stakes, you know, where it's like actually getting against a human player, and then like regarding skill level also. There was like one time where me and a friend like played against like another dude, like a friend of ours, who was like actually pretty experienced in like those games, and he wiped us both out, you know. There was like, only one time where we caught him off guard, but other than that, the kill count, you know, like the streak was like, okay, he won 81 times against us, we only won 1 time or something like that, you know, because we both were not experienced really. We could like ambush him, but if we still stay in the same spot, then he would be prepared, you know. He thought like, okay, this worked once, let's stay here again, but he would be careful, you know, like throw a grenade or so before he like storms in there, you know, something like that. But also at the same time, there's like ricochet, sometimes the grenade would like really bounce off or so, but you can kind of hit confirm, oh, did I actually hit something or not, you know. Sometimes like that, okay, there are like 2 entrances, I'm gonna throw in one entrance like grenade, and the other one I will cover myself or so. There are like some kind of tactics like that. When I was like watching, for example, like Asta, you know, where he would be like solo queuing on like Apex also. There was like a time, you know, where he was pretty crazy, and I was pretty drawn to that uniqueness he had like there. It's like, you know, I just watch a pro, like, you know, I'm watching a pro and doing his thing. And I knew he was like pretty talented also, or at least like really skilled, let's say that. And I wanted like, you know, give support like in a way, like watching the streams. Ask them for more like HoloStars if you're not really sure. HoloStars JP. He pretty much made JP or she. But then I see also Arandise, you know, who I was like drawn to in the beginning, and actually, man, pretty social as well. Robert Winning Sun as well. Like there are a lot of cool people like HoloStars, and they did like really cool things, but doesn't go unnoticed usually. But not that I really mind, you know, like when new people come in, be like, and they see the potential, they see like the raw talent, be like, man, why they're really underrated, they need more attention, you know. But why are the numbers so low? They're expecting more. But for people who were like their fans for the longest time, you know, support them for the longest time, it's kind of like they are used to that, you know. They know like they get low, and but despite that, you know, they're still around and like support them. Sometimes people be like, hey, can we talk about why are the less numbers so low? Then be like, it's not really worth it, you know. Just stay there in this chat and like enjoy, you know. Because not really like on the fans to like do that. Of course, clips and everything helps, you know. and this lives a little bit of a boost, but I guess like, you know, it's really like up to like Holo Stars Management, Kava Corp or so, to do something about that. They're like trying, you know, to get like something going, I suppose. At least I like saw something like, oh, there's the first 3D from like holoStars English, you know, they're doing something, and I watched that one. But if I think about the quality, you know, like camera movements, like choreography, you know, something like that, and then like with HoloFest, for example, like some regular 3D live streams with singing, dancing, then yeah, actually, HoloLive slaps more. Like from a objective standpoint. There was a time where a friend had a holoStars ticket, SPWN ticket to like a holoStars concert. And I watched that and I really noticed like, man, the difference, you know? It's not like day and night, but there's like a noticeable difference in like how the camera movement like was. And how much they could like do on special effects, you know, like at HoloFest there's like something like where they teleport like members, you know, like after the performance ends then they would like vanish, you know, like there would be like this HoloLive triangle sign, it flashes in their collar, and then this triangle like disappears with the, you know, like, and then they vanish, and then a few seconds, 10 seconds, 20 seconds later, next performance, you know. There wasn't anything about like that in the holoStars or so concert, at least like what I remember from like 2 years ago, like one. Yeah, also 2 years ago there was still like holoStars uproars. They're like, I mean they still were there, but I mean like Gamma was still there, you know, Isaki Gamma. But yeah, TLDR is just like, you know, there's a difference on like how much resource like put in between those two factions. Do you say factions? I'm not really sure, but you know, there's a difference on how many resources there are, because I think like HoloLive has like more eyes on them, more interest than like the boys, but it's still the boys have a special place in my heart. It's kind of weird to talk about it because I draw like a HoloLive, not a holoStars, but yeah. But it's just like, yeah, I do appreciate cute girls, you know, give me more. And yeah, here we are. And to be honest, if it comes to figurines, I mostly avoid like the boys. But if it's like Goblin Slayer, then be like, man, the armor looks so cool, let me get that one. Also, he's my favorite character there, so then yeah. Actually the most like interesting character there. The only relevant character for me. I don't really care much about like the Lizard Priest or like the Dwarf Shaman there, I must like say. They're based, but yeah, I'm not really interested much in them. Even like the Archer girl, I'm not really interested, you know. IF Archer. I'm more interested about the Goblin Slayer and like if there's any kind of like way to like give him a happy ending, because it seems like he never, like his start was like really rough. Not the start of anime, but like generally like how he became an adventurer, you know. Or like not adventurer, but like a Goblin Slayer. he learned things, you know, he struggled, but he survived, overcame like the struggles, you know. Met like people, some people like try to like get him on the right path, you know. Of course, struggles, you know. Also, when he was starting out, the helmet he like wore had like still 2 horns, but then over time, you know, after a lot of battles, they would like break those horns, you know, and then kind of interesting like to see what why are the horns not attached anymore? Why does the helmet look like that now? And then yeah. And it's kind of like surprising that he still like wears the kind of still the same set of armor. Probably the cheapest, you know. But armor is actually pretty underrated, you know. In a lot of like shows with like swords and magic, a lot of people don't wear any armor at all. Or like when there's like commander, captain, then they don't wear helmets, you know. At least like the armor, but not the helmet. I suppose like animation, faces are easier to draw than like helmets. If it's like, you know, not flesh and blood, but you see like only metal on the outside, then you can like bet there will be like 3D or so. Also, by the way, some samples on the left side. I kind of like talking in the beginning to like know like what to expect from the art style. I didn't set it up. You can see it here now. Some samples. Okay. But yeah. I did draw like some of the boys. Also, Kobo did use my art. At least like took it, edited a little bit, and then yeah. And like shows she does know how to make thumbnails. She does know how to edit. I actually do know too. I mean, like, when you like start making content, you know, you do learn a lot of things. At least like if you like put effort in there, actually like learning rather than like achieving. Maybe if you try to achieve something, you have to learn naturally too, you know. Like if you like take a test, you know, you do want to prepare for that too as well. I think that's like the sentiment there. So whenever you want to do something, you need to do your due diligence and like actually prepare, learn, form yourself. Like even drawing for me took like a little bit of like information gaining, because you know I was like, okay, I like Dragon Ball, let me draw. Then actually I was not really satisfied like what was like the thing there. Why doesn't it go hard, you know? What goes hard there? And then I had to do some art studying, you know, to like develop my eye on like to spot those kind of things. When it was like, you know, cool action scene, you know, and be like, okay, I'm gonna draw the character, make a Kamehameha, then I add in a thought bubble and be like Kamehameha, you know, and then I draw this, I have the image in my mind, then but it's like not really the same image on paper, and be like, oh, my mind went so hard, why does it not go hard there? And then yeah, and then I had to do some studying on like why. What was kind of the example image or so. Usually when you have like, let me draw it actually. You have like things like speed lines, right? And then maybe like character's face, you know, and then they do a big punch. Then you would like do the speed lines on that punch or so. Something like that. I'm not sure. Okay, I can't really do a good example, but usually back in the days I would draw a character sideways. He does a Kamehameha, something like that, and I write like some words there and be like, and this was like back in the days, but things like some other things like, okay, you have to put emphasis on that, make it like that people like look at the image rather than like, you know, glance over it, then like scroll over it, you know. Yeah. Like, you know, those amateur kind of works. But actually it did improve, like, when I went like further, even if it was like not directly a battle scene. It will be like mundane actions, or like not really mundane, but like some over-the-top actions, you know? You know, like Nichijou, when there was like the principal, and then like, he encounters a deer, and then he actually, you know, they throw hands at each other. Like some small tidbits like that. What? You don't think I'm like fit enough for my age? If I'm not fit enough, can I do this? And then would like do a jump, a double forward flip, and then with that like cleanly land, you know? And like drawing this, putting into the action was kind of like cool. When I look back at it. Like those kind of things where you need like a little bit of like, you know, understanding of like camera move of the camera, or like panel structure, you know. And then yeah. But if you do like things like animation, then you don't have to, it's like kind of like thinking a different way, like, okay, camera, you know, you're like a film director, more or less. But you also have like limited budget, so you can't like do all the cool flashy things, because it takes a lot of time and we have a deadline sometimes, or you don't have enough budget to like do so, then yeah. But it's like mostly like a time issue, you know, like time management. If it's like about money, then it's like, okay, we can hire like another bunch of people to like do this for us, you know, I think. Because animators are not well paid, you know, then it's kind of like that. Like when they have low budget and they have like only a limited team or so. Like, you know, if you look at a really big anime, like movies for example, actually not movies, movies have like more time to cook. But if it's like anime series, then you can like see how big the team is, you know, like if you roll the credits. But there are also people who do animations alone, you know, like one-man project. Like, have you heard about... What was this anime called? I think this was like one of the best anime last year. Something like with Milky Ways, right? Milky Subway, the Galactic Limited Express. It was like, it is like a short anime, on the shorter side, like 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes? I think like 5 minutes around like every episode, and it's like all done by one person, you know? And I think like this was like one of the best like productions like in the last year. It even went so far that they had like some merch releasing, you know, probably to make up the cost, like to get back the money that they invested in there. But all they like Bray have invested is like voice actors, you know, like some that are considered rookie, but some that are also like, you know, actually like pretty good, like you know, like Hanaoka Yuzu from Blue Archive. The voice actor Momoka Terasawa like was like one of the main characters there. And if you're not if it doesn't really say anything, she also voiced like that red-haired girl in Makein, like the one who looks like a little bit dorky and like and depressing, you know. And she had like a crush on like a chat in like the sports from the sports club or so, something like that. And she is like really good actually, and like playing her role. When some people were like surprised, man, she good? Are there more roles they played when they saw like only like 3-4 voice characters at the time and be like, holy crap, you know, where did they found her? She's actually talented. She should get more jobs, you know, and yeah. And actually, I was like it was kinda like cool for me like to see her having like some extra roles. Because I like Yuzu from Blue Archive, you know, and it should be like also like, you know, more connected to like the voice actor as well. Like to the seiyuu. There are like people who are like so much fan of the seiyuu that they watch like every show that like are start and, you know. I sometimes be like that too, you know, like or like when the Trash Taste Boys talk about Sally Amaki, you know, where she like voiced like in anime and learned like British accent, you know, to like fit the role a lot more, like with Lily also. Yeah. Like Game Center or something, like cultural exchange, something like that. It was kind of like cute, hilarious. Like the beginning. Let's say like the first 3 episodes, and then afterwards it's kind of like you know, because it kind of like, rather than focusing on the thing that was like kind of made me giggle and like interested, the show introduced more characters, and then yeah, they can't really. It seems like they can't make any progress with like just Renji and Lily. With 2 characters, ran out of ideas. Let's add more characters, you know. But I felt like, nah, you had to stick to those 2. If you put in too many other stuff, distracts like from the main flavor, you know. Like, okay, egg, fried rice, good. Okay, maybe we can add some veggies, a little bit of spice, you know, like salt. But the more it comes, yeah, the less it takes, like, yeah, fried egg and like rice, you know. And it kind of distracts from that, and then I kind of enjoy my meal. Sometimes it goes like really like wild and like putting like some ridiculous ingredient in there, like boba also. Or when you like mix up sugar and like salt, for example, then yeah. Like in a lot of like egg dishes, salt's like a part of it. Even like if you like eat a cooked egg, you know. There's like when you buy like raw egg, not cooked eggs, you know. There's sometimes like a package of like salt in there, right? A little packaging. So they, you know, it's like kind of the understanding of like, yeah, those 2 belong together. Yeah, that's like something of a bread and butter combination, you know. Okay, I'm like 1 hour in. Let me try to finish that within this hour. This will not be my best edition of like Iroha-chan, but I think like in the future I might like draw her again and then try better. Because when I see a cute character I'm be like, man, I wanna make it justice, but right now I don't do it really, but maybe in the future. There will be another time I draw her. As long as they are alive, there's always like a next time, you know. I will adjust the line weight, I would like say. for starters. Line weight is like a thing I always care about. But if I use like brushes that are like more soft rather than like solids, I think I could like solve that issue as well. I do like to use like soft brushes, but then the chibis will like look a little bit weird, I must like say, if I don't use like solid brushes. It's like more a pen rather than like a brush, you know. You know, like Ishida Sui from like Tokyo, who like did Tokyo Ghoul, like their art, you know. If you watch anime, you maybe will have no image, but the illustrations like they usually do, they use like something like brush-ish. Like almost like a painting, a little bit of a painting, you know, vibe. Or if you look, maybe the ending of like from the first Tokyo Ghoul, I think there was like something like that too. Like if you go closer, it actually uses brushes. And it's kind of like, yeah, that slaps. It was like kind of popular art style back in the days. There were like some people like who drew like, would like try to draw like that. But then at some point, Chainsaw Man, then I wanna try like Tatsuki Fujimoto, you know, something like that. But I think like what's interesting like about Tatsuki Fujimoto's like art style, or like rather the direction of his art, is like that they use the medium to maximum potential to like visual storytelling, like cinema, you know. What do I mean by that really? I must like say I haven't like read many Tatsuki Fujimoto's works, like Fire Punch, I watched like Goodbye Eri, you know. I didn't like look into Chainsaw Man that much. I only watch anime, but in Goodbye Eri, a lot of like the shots are like panels, like drawn as like you filmed them with a smartphone, so that the paneling would be like a rectangle, you know, either upwards or like sideways, horizontally or like vertically, you know, something like that. And this was kind of interesting to see. Apparently in Chainsaw Man, this kind of paneling structure is like enhanced a lot more. That they sometimes would like remove the paneling, take the whole page, you know. Like sometimes this is like the whole page, you know. Sometimes this the structure, sometimes that there like a lot of like white emptiness surrounding the panel, but sometimes they would like do not really the white emptiness and like take the like half of the page or something like that, or like something like, to like kind of emphasize, say we are like in the past or like in the future, you know, something like that. Not really sure. And there's like something special I heard like about that, and I guess I wanna look into that because it would be of interest for me, as I did had like some thoughts about drawing a manga. Not that I like think I would ever apply all of that, but can always like look into it, you know. Even like for visual storytelling, it's like also good. I think like there was a part where like there was a character who spoke like Russian language or so. And apparently it has not been translated like in any of the published works, you know, like Japanese or like to English. But if you look at the structure of like the paneling, you could kind of understand, yes, I do not understand what you say. There's no melody at all, but I can get that you're like probably melancholic now, the sad vibes, you know, something like that. That had like kind of this visual storytelling there going on. And in a medium where you don't have voices, you don't have music, you know, but only like your drawings and like some kind of structure to play around with, it's like pretty valuable, you know, to be able to like do that. Or to tell like a story. not via text, but like, you know, via visual means. And this is like pretty important in entertainment media, you know. Like if you read books, of course you're gonna have text, duh. But manga, then it actually uses like the strength of like being a visual storytelling medium. Hell yeah, you know. Like if I think like about comics, for example, like back in the days of Spider-Man, I like watch a little, I read like a little bit here and there. It's pretty wordy. It's still good though, but it's pretty wordy. Or like Blue Archive back in the days. Isaku-san kind of like put like emphasis on like, you know, when you translate like a language, then a lot of the charm gets like lost, you know, maybe about 70%, like on average. Because like some jokes or like some kind of like words, smart words construction, word sentence structure and everything, they get like lost if you translate it in like the other language, you know. So they try to like, with the visual novel storytelling, to go more in the direction of like show don't tell, to like include as less, not as much text as possible, you know. And when there's like text, then it would be like spoken words, not necessarily like I reach out to the girl, I grabbed her hand. Nah, like that's really like not describing your actions, but like, you know, that they use like the visual medium, and only like when it came like spoken words or like yeah, you know, then add words. I kind of like that, you know, because visual novel is like something of a book, but you have like music, you have like illustrations, you have like sprites, you know, and use that like to advantage. But now that Isaku-san, the writer, the Pikachu man, is like not really there anymore. They did quit after Volume 1, Chapter 3, and a lot of people say, some people say this is like his worst work ever. You know, after he's like not there anymore, the channels got so much longer because there's so much on words in there, you know. Like the pacing's a lot slower now. It feels like it's not really fast paced, not really like respecting too much of your time. Like what was like a 3-minute, 7-minute read is like now a 50 minutes read. If I read it out loud, maybe 20, 25 minutes. So yeah, it's kind of like, they didn't really find a good replacement. Or like successor in a sense. They maybe didn't understand really like what he was like talking about regarding like, you know, show don't tell. But yeah, if you have like a game, for example, then and you have like also like visual novel storytelling methods, don't rely too much on the text, I would say. Of course, some games are still banger even with all the text, you know, but it's kind of like, you know, you have this medium used to advantage, you know. Like Dragon Ball is like cool because the visual storytelling is really good in there, you know. It's like not a wall of text that like bombard you with. Not every character has like a wall of text like ready for you. Maybe like Cell, maybe like Frieza, you know, a little bit because they're charismatic, you know. They have like some brains to their mythology, something like that, you know. But it's like things like that, you know, like those small things that like make up like a good product. It's like kind of surprising because regarding Akira Toriyama sensei, you know, they started off like Trongek manga like Dr. Slump, you know. And the beginning of Dragon Ball was like a little bit of a gag manga as well. But I think like Toriyama sensei found this like kind of like talent, not really sure. That he's like pretty good at like visual storytelling, like regarding fights and like paneling, and so he maybe found like fun in that, like with those small interaction between like Yamcha and like Goku when like they fought each other. in the Dragon Ball era. Not like where you can like consider that Dragon Ball Z, you know, still Dragon Ball. And the fights will be quickly over, actually. I must like say too, the fights would be over quick. Because the pacing was like so good, you know? You draw so much but there's so little text, and then it's just like, okay, one more combo on one guy, one dude, and then chapter over, you know? I remember like something like that in the Boo saga, you know? Gohan would appear, beats like the crap out of like Boo, when he would like smirk, and then this chapter's over. Holy crap. He got hands, you know? Holy crap. What did I do? And then, let's hide for now, you know? When Goku would come, hey, I got like the Potara earrings, put one on. And then we get a lot stronger. Here, toss it to him, then he lost it, you know, then, no, and then yeah. And while having like this opening, oh gosh, I remember like the things. But I read like Dragon Ball a lot of, many times when I was like younger, because I had not much like ways to entertain myself back in the days. I went to the library, borrowed like a bunch of like books and manga, mostly manga, and then I binged like Dragon Ball for that day. Sometimes I need like more. I'm not really sure if it like started like my art journey, but it did actually, yeah. I remember like things from, actually it started off like with that. What I still like about, you know, even though it has the Dragon Balls and they can like make wishes, you know, there's like one timeline where the Dragon Balls are not really like existent anymore, and where like they're set like wait, like when the future Trunks, you know, in his timeline. This was like something. Like, you know, I never really knew, like, you know, Akira Toriyama sensei drew like gag manga and everything, you know, like comedy. But this actually had hands regarding emotional weight. It can actually like tell tragic stories, you know. There was like something like, wow, you did that? Of course, originally was like a little shorter, and the things like anime and like games like added more emotional weight, but the fact is still like, this was his idea, you know? He did that, you know? Like, if you just let people cook, I suppose, you know? You can come up with like wonderful stories. Okay, this might not be the most wonderful because it did like one sad, you know? But yeah. But it really like developed the characters for like Trunks is really well. That like idea there. But when I started like watching anime, it was a little bit weird because Goku would like sound pretty weird from my headcanon, from my headcanon, you know. I was not really watching like the JP dub anime really, because in Germany it would be like the German dub, you know. And when it came like to JP, you know, like via video game, Dragon Ball Budokai Tenkaichi, you know, Goku would like sound Oira, a lot more like squeaky voice rather than like the male alpha chat voice I had like in my mind, you know. I did heard like some voice clips or like soundboards of like the Kamehameha of like Goku, but I never really imagined that's how you sound like in JP. Then, you know, I would like switch over to like the English, you know. That sounds like a lot more, yeah, this sounds like a dude actually, you know. But like some squeakish. And I think like with that I kinda like developed like little bit of okay, that's like how all Japanese voice actually sound like. Holy crap, so bad. Something like that. But at some point like this kind of expectations got like, you know, shattered when I like heard like German dub in like SAO and then watched like the JP dub and like, you know, from SAO. And Matsuoka's son, like who voiced like Kirito, he went like so hard, like second episode for example, you know, like when there was a fight against like this one boss enemy of the second, not really sure, it was like one of the higher floors. But yeah, those were like the days. I was like, for the most part back in the days as a kid, you know, like a manga only guy. Because I had no internet connection at some point. Anime would like stop broadcasting like on German television, and then yeah, I didn't have like much left to entertain myself regarding this medium. Some books I like read were like went hard, you know. Like it's not the mainstream of like Harry Potter or so, like or Lord of the Rings. Let's say my brain could like really comprehend like the wittiness of those of the writings, you know. But I did like enjoyed like easy digestible ones, I suppose. A lot of them. I had a lot of like German titles because it was localized this way. I can't really like say what kind of books those were. Like the titles of those. It would probably translate to something different, like in English. So yeah. But besides like library visits, I would also like borrow manga like from friends and like read some stories like that I had not access to in the library. Things like Death Note, Rosario Vampire. And Rosario Vampire as a manga went hard, holy crap. Actually, like, the girls actually look pretty cute. It was like something, you know, it was more or less a harem, but it turned like, it was also like something of an action shonen. A little bit weird to like explain. Like when the anime adaptation was like kind of like you know, it was because in the 2000s, you know, the budget, the thing of like action is like not really like the same. Now Dragon Ball was also like not really, animation was not really like that high back in the days. It was always like emotional moments, you know. You know, the pacing. This was not really good, I must like say. Like when it comes to the openings, holy crap, so much Sakuga. When the action episodes is like so slow paced, you know. but you know, the reason was just like, you know, the anime. We started like just making the anime, but the manga is only like 20 chapters, you know. If we like put as many episodes in a good pace for good pacing, then we're gonna run out of material, you know. And we have like a contract, we're gonna publish every week like a new episode. And then let's do like, okay, one chapter, one episode, then it would take too long, you know. And I just described like in Dragon Ball, you know, like one chapter, 15 pages or so. It was just like one big thing grab out of a boo, you know. And then they can't like put that in there really. Just like if I had to stretch it for one episode, it's gonna be like some really witchcraft I'd like to do. So sometimes it would be like that I have like to stretch like episodes like that artificially, and it would come like to ridiculous fillers sometimes. It would lead like to that. Like many anime, especially Big 3 and so back in the days had like this issue, but Gintama was like kind of like, nah, we do our own thing, you know. Gintama was not really part of that, but it's like somewhat of the same era, you know. So there are like people who had like good memories about Gintama, and like with that, yeah, Gintama is my goat, you know. And actually, you know, a little bit of the Japan vibes is like cool, but also like futuristic, like kind of stuff with like aliens and like some weapons there. There were like a lot of like parodies like in this series as well, like regarding Star Wars also. They had like something of the beginning, like it sounded kind of like the Imperial March, but then when it goes later, it doesn't really sound too much because they had to avoid the copyright, you know, thingies. There's a lot of weird shit, but I like that, you know. Like when it came like to the Benny Sakura arc, you know, like I think about episode 40 or 60 or so, then it kind of like start to kick in. Even if it was still like regarding 2005 or so, the animation quality and like the emotional weight and everything went so hard. There was not really a trailing arc or so, like those useless fillers. It's just, you know, it just kept going. I was like all there for it. Not that it came on TV, but I like watched like fan subs for regarding that one. And man, fan subs were like really so special. It's like kind of like sad that they died out a little bit. Like for example, like Blue Archive, nobody picked up like animation. Nobody picked up like that anime. Like Crunchyroll didn't, Netflix didn't, Hulu doesn't have it. Then okay, fine, we do it ourselves. So like from the sides of like the fan subbers, you know. and then, oh, we retired like 5 years ago, but now we are like together again, like to work on a project, you know, something like that. Of course, there are like some things of Blu-rays now in the West you can like buy, and then if you get that, you get like some in-game rewards, I think. Not really sure. Like you can get like a live 2D special one also, like if you get that. But I think they're not really that special compared to like the in-game ones. Because the drawing quality is like more like anime keyframe, you know, rather than like illustration level, you know. And yeah. A keyframe gets like live 2D animation rather than like actual animation, you know. When it comes to action animation, you know, this is like a lot more difficult to do because you have like to draw it, like redraw it, but then like slightly different until you have like a finished motion. But action scenes like a lot harder to do. Even as a mangaka coming off like fight sequences takes a lot of time as well. Like just storyboarding alone. Like those kind of like fight scenes where like they destroy buildings, like catapult like one from from one point of the city to the end of the city, you know, when they would like fly through buildings, when there would be like holes like in the buildings, something like that. Like a little bit of like kaiju level, like kind of destruction like level. Sakamoto days also like got like a little bit really ridiculous that I stopped like taking it seriously, you know. Like it's like about assassins, you know, like, contract killers. And you know, you can kill in many ways, like via sniper rifle, you know, from distance. You can do it like silently, with like some poison, you know. And there were like some kind of like case like in China or so, like one case in China where there was like one kind of serial killer, you know, who was like, no, the Nutcracker. Not really sure if he was kind of like that, but he left like something of a signature like there. And there was a case where like a buff woman got like killed by the serial killer, and but at some point I captured one, and it turned out to be like some kind of frail man in his 40s or so, like someone who was not really strong, but even though not really strong, not really like martial arts or so, he still managed to like, you know, murder like one buff woman, you know, who like, what do I mean with like buff women? She like sports, she could like lift really high weights, she did like jog every morning, she had like really muscles like a chat, you know, and just like a frail guy like managed to like, you know, murder her because he did it for the thrills, you know, something like that. And the Sakamoto days, you know, they don't really have like this kind of like thing of like, yeah, they do it like smartly, they do it like with a method, you know, to not get catched like Death Note. It's just like, yo, assassins, they're like Jedi Knights, they can like fight really like Sakuga-ish, you know, they can destroy buildings, they're like John Wick a little bit, and it's like, yeah, and then it turns like out into like battle shonen slop, you know. In the beginning it was kind of fun because it was like something casual, you know, but later on got like more stakes, you know, they have like enemy, it's something like word level threat or so, like at least like Tokyo level threat, like a whole country or so. And then yeah, kind of lost me there. I'm still like reading it to like see how it ends, you know. It's like watching like a car crash. Like some people still enjoy it, of course, I kind of like see, it's shown in slope, you know, and yeah, I don't like think too much about it and like read it. But things like Hero Archive, for example, they had like a little bit of a story going on, like characters, like character development. But here, Sakamoto Days, I didn't really see it as like that, like much like to think about. There's also like a thing about mind reading, and if you have like a mind reader in a story, you can make something really interesting like with that, you know. Of course, like some people have like the most disturbing thoughts ever, you know. Like on the outside they look like really nice and everything, but if you look on the inside they'd be like, man, I want to die, you know, I don't want to work anymore, please kill me, or something like that, you know. They're gonna be like the most depressor ever, you know. Even from the outside they seem like pretty nice and like everything's like going alright. And they're gonna be like greeting with the brightest hello, good morning ever, but when deep inside they'd be like, oh man, not this guy again, you know, something like that. And even though, you know, sometimes I'm like that too. I appear like neutral or like happy, but on the inside I'm kind of like, you know, the opposite. Sometimes I have like some kind of snarky comments in my mind, but I'm not gonna say them out loud because I have like you know, I do be aware about that it can hurt people's feelings, something like that, you know. And some people have like this filter. A lot of people have like a filter regarding that one. They know like how to control themselves. They know like when it's too far, you know. They have like a little bit of an emergency brake. But if people can like read your brain, you know, then all those emergency brakes, all those filters are like kind of like, you know, they can just ignore it. And then they get hit by they get like mental damage, emotional damage, you know, even though those people who use the filter emergency brake didn't really intend to, you know. They're like, hey, what's wrong? What's going on, you know? Why are you so why are you shaking? You know, something like that, you know, why are you so scared, you know? And you can like make something really interesting with that, you know, like having, you know, of course, reading like the minds has like a lot of advantages like battle, you know, you can like predict the next movement of them, you can like look like into governments, country secrets, you can leak that, you have a lot of like power with that. And but what I did with Sakamoto Days is just like, yeah, I don't know what's your next move, I can like fight you, you know, something like that. It's kind of disappointing, you know, I must like say. There was like a backstory arc at some point like in the manga as well, but I must like say it's nothing like really, it's nothing deep. It like all drifted like into battle shonen, you know. So use the ability, you know, something like that. In the beginning it was like used a little bit like that, and then like as a comedy kind of thing, like Sakamoto thinking about killing that mind reader guy, then hey, what did you imagine, you know. But yeah, there are like not many stories that like use that mind reader trope really well. The one thing I can like think about is like about like fan fiction or like fan story in like Toho, you know. It's like kind of an MMD series. It's kind of unlisted on like YouTube. But if you go into Toho Subs, a YouTube channel that like retired like, I don't know, 5-7 years ago, they didn't upload anything like that since. If we are the fan base, and I'm like kind of like worried that maybe like the owner died or so, they get like into accident or whatever, maybe corona, who knows. It was like around 2018, 2019 or so. It was maybe not COVID, but something happened properly. I don't know if you know much about Toho, you know, but they're like mind readers, you know, like Satori Komeiji, and then who used to be able to mind read was like her sister Koishi Komeiji, the little sister. And there's a little bit of a backstory there, like hints like in the wiki you can like read in some of the games, or like video game description, character description, the backside of like the CD case, you know, something like that, to like piece like the puzzles together, you know, the whole picture, to get like a whole picture. And some fans came like with really interesting theories on like, okay, how did she lose her power, you know, and like was it espresso, you know, something like that. And there was like one guy, Doku Sensei, it's like written in like Roman capital letters or so, who did like episode, animated MMD, regarding that. Why Koichi smiles. And was peak actually. It uses like some Vocaloid like voiceover. It sounds like pretty mechanical, but the choreography, the camera shots, the storytelling is like so good. It has like Studio Shaft vibe, like with the neck tilt, the Monogatari, you know, like that they use like those text as intervention like in between, you know, to like express thoughts. It's like really well made. A little bit weird to talk about that in like art stream where I like draw like Kazama Iroha, yeah, but you know, when I talk like that, I will probably yap during the duration of the whole stream. Then I will yap, you know. This is just like that. So let me see if I did overshot anything. Yeah, I did overshot a little bit. Yeah. Okay. So let me see about background. I'm gonna keep it simple, I suppose. Yeah, I keep it simple for now. I don't have like that many ideas like how to make it better within a short time frame, but this will be all for today, I would say. Well, I thank you for watching, and I wish you all a nice rest of the day, evening, good night, whatever time zone in the world you all are. And with that, I'm gonna say bye bye.